guys, and welcome back to another brand new video. I am really sorry that I haven't filmed in ages. I have been struck down with COVID, but I am recovered now and I'm feeling good enough to film. You can probably tell by my voice, but I have still got a bit of a croak in my voice. This video is all about job interviews. So for those who don't know, I have just applied for a job at one of the big fours. I'm actually not going to name which company it is because I'm not too sure if I can name it on here, but you can probably guess by big four as there are only 4 companies. Anyway, so I applied for a role as a cybersecurity apprentice. I made it to the interview stage. I had my interview, and about a month ago as well, I actually got a phone call saying I am successful and I am starting on the 21st of August, which I am so excited for. I am really excited to kind of finish my uni degree and start a full-time job. I'm also really excited to step into the cybersecurity industry. As for those who are new to my channel, I'm going into the cybersecurity industry with not much knowledge. I have done a few cybersecurity lectures at uni, but one thing I am doing currently is I'm doing online courses to up my knowledge, and I'm attending different cybersecurity events and just kind of getting a network and just kind of getting a feel for the industry. I'm also doing some online lessons in cybersecurity, as I said, online courses. Anyway, this video is all about nailing a job interview. So as I said, I had to go through a job interview, and this is going to be structured as before the interview, like the night before, like a few hours before, during and after. So if you're new here, make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, and let's get started with this video. So the nights before the interview will be one of the most daunting nights ever. Your anxiety might be quite high and your head might be all over the place. So what I did the night before was I did some light reading on the organisation I was applying for. So for example, I went on our website and I just looked at job description again and just kind of got to see what kind of roles I'll be doing in the job. I also got to look at the company website and look at, like, their culture and kind of what they do. The night before I also set out my work clothes. So for my interview I did look at their social media and stuff beforehand, and I did see that they were in a kind of smart casual. And as this is my first interview, I didn't really have many work clothes because I haven't really been in work. So what I did was I thought, would I be happy to be seen in these clothes if I did a corporate photo with them? So I basically just wore a smart dress and a blazer. I also thought about my bag, and I did take a little handbag with me just to put my phone in, because one thing that I really recommend during the interview is turn your phone on airplane mode or do not disturb mode, and I put it in a bag so it was out of the way. The night before as well, it can be really nerve-wracking, so I avoided going on my phone before bed because I needed a good night's sleep. I'd actually read a book before I went to bed, which really helped, I think, because it kind of calms you down. Because normally I do go on my iPad before bed, which I admit is not the best thing to do, and the blue light can really mess up my sleep schedule. So one thing is just relax the night before, like light a candle, have a nice relaxing bath, just do something to take your mind off the anxiety. So on the day of the interview, I set my alarm about 2 hours before my interview, and that gave me time to have a shower, get ready and get there. So for travel I actually drove in and I parked up to go there. But one thing I really recommend is leave a little bit earlier than you usually do, because traffic is unpredictable these days and I didn't know if I'd be there on time, so I left a lot earlier than I usually would as if I was going to the building. So because I think it is better to be 10 minutes early than 10 minutes late, because if you are early and it's too early to actually go into the office and wait, you can always just sit in your car. And what I do is I'll just sit in my car and scroll on TikTok. I always do it when I'm really early for uni. So what I do is really recommend be there early. When you go in as well, I really recommend you kind of have this confident walk and just smile. Like, my interview was in this office, and there was a receptionist who took me to my interview, and so I smiled at the receptionist, and I kind of went to the receptionist and said I was here for my interview. I kind of I gave my name and my contact details because COVID contact tracing. Anyway, so yeah, when you go in, also acknowledge the place, like even a little smile just to the receptionist. And then I went up to my interview, and then I was sat outside the waiting room. So what I did was I basically just looked around the office, and their office for the company that I'm at now, their office for the company that I was at was actually really cool. Like, they had all their values on the wall. So I was just kind of like, looking around, and if people were walking past the office, I just kind of, smile at them and say hi and just be a friendly face. And then when they called me in, I stood up and I went in. One thing I did do was, the first thing I did was I introduced myself and said hi, and I said it's nice to meet you to the interviewers. I had 2 interviewers, but you might have 1, you might have 3, you might have 10, but I had 2. I shook hands with them. I said it was nice to meet you, and then I sat down. We did the interview, and they asked you a lot of questions. They will write notes, and don't be alarmed by it, because they're writing notes of what's good. I noticed, like, whenever I said something that I felt to myself, yeah, this was what they answered, that this is what they wanted to be answered, they would write it down. And one thing that I really do recommend is take your time answering questions. Don't just give a one-word answer like a yes or a no. Expand on your answers, and also don't be afraid to ask questions. Like, one of my go-to sentences was, "I'm really sorry, can you give me some time to think?" And they'll be okay with that. They can't say no, you can't think, because they understand you're on the spot, you're under pressure. And another thing as well is to say, "I'm really sorry, can you repeat that?" Because they're going to be happy to, because you don't understand the question. It's no point trying to answer a question you don't know. And if you don't know a question, you can say, "I'm really sorry, I'm not too sure how to answer this, but in this instance I would do this." And that's if it's like a skills-based interview. Mine was more of a competency-based interview, but if you had a skills-based, that is, how would you do this in this scenario? Because I'm not too sure from personal experience, but I would do this. So even if you don't know the question, just kind of give your version of, like, your answer to it. And at the end of the interview, make sure to thank the interviewer for their time. Again, shake their hands. And one thing to definitely do is they will say at the end of the interview, "Thank you, do you have any questions?" And you do say yes, because if you say no, then it doesn't seem that you're interested. Even if you ask a question that's like stupid, like, "What's my working hours?" it shows that you're interested in the job and that you're really wanting it. If you don't ask questions, it just seems that you're kind of being forced into it. But even asking questions that's, as you might think, are stupid questions, but they're not. Like, what is the working week like? Am I working from home? Who will I be working with? It shows that you're genuinely interested in the job. And when you leave the interview, I just basically had a massive smile on my face, and as I said, I thanked them. I went out, and when I got into the car, I just kind of took a big deep breath of relief, because it was all over. Because for me, I'm not very good at interviews because I can get quite nervous. So I just kind of let it all go then. I got home. I didn't look at my phone, like, to check if I have any updates, because it will take a few weeks for them to come back to you. And I basically just, when I got home, I just turned off. Like, I didn't think about this job. I was like, if I get it, I get it. If I didn't, it wasn't meant to be. Because you will find out. They will call you, they will email you. But if it wasn't meant to be, they will send you feedback normally. And normally it's something like, it might be you might not be a fit for the team. They will never be rude and say, no, you're not right. But, you know, we don't like your looks or whatever. It will always be something like, you're not experienced enough yet. But if you get a no, then it's a not today. It doesn't mean you can never go back to that business. So when I got home, as I said, I unwinded, and then about 3 weeks later I did get the phone call saying I got the job, and I was really pleased. And you know, I told my family, I went out to celebrate, and one thing I really did which helped was I added my interviewers on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is such a great platform for businesses, as even if you weren't successful at your interview, you can kind of expand your network, and they might have said no, but there might be another company who see you on LinkedIn and go, oh, you might be a suitable match, so they might contact you. So LinkedIn is such a great network because your connections will have other connections and they get to see you through posts. So I really recommend adding them on LinkedIn. And if you are going to the business world and you don't have LinkedIn, then get yourself on it. This is not promo or anything, but LinkedIn is such a great, it's basically like Facebook for businesses. It's great. But yeah, so that's really it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you're new here, make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, and thank you so much for watching this video.